Cimoooooooo!
What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Today I'm going to be bringing you a video discussing this card, Pot of Taboos. A really interesting card that's coming out of Dimension of Chaos, which I believe is the set that's going to be coming out after Clash of Rebellion. Now, Pot of Taboos is a level 9 Earth Rock Flip Effect monster with 2,000 attack and 3,000 defense. And when it's flipped, you can activate one of 4 different effects. You can either draw 2 cards, you can return all spell and trap cards on the field to their owner's hands, you can destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, or you can look at your opponent's hand and shuffle 1 card in their hand back into their deck. And you can only use one effect of Pot of Taboos once per turn and only once per turn. First, I just want to go a little bit off tangent by saying, doesn't the artwork from this kind of look like something out of Full Metal Alchemist? I don't know, it just looks very homunculi-ish in nature with all the black and the red. I don't know, it just looks f***ing awesome. Now the question is, how do we get this thing out? And there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. Since there's no restriction on it being able to be special summoned, you can get it to your grave with something like Foolish Burial, and you can activate a really old card known as the Shallow Grave, which allows you to set Pot of Taboos back on your side of the field, and it's ready to go for your next turn. But I'm going to take that one step further. If you're running Pot of Taboos in a deck like SHADDOLL's, you can SHADDOLL Fusion, assuming your opponent has an extra deck monster. You can SHADDOLL Fusion the Pot of Taboos and any SHADDOLL monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then you can use a card like Burst Rebirth, which did see some play in the early stages of SHADDOLL's, and be able to special summon back the Pot of Taboos. So not only do you have Pot of Taboos ready to go for your next turn, but you also have Shekinaga on the field to help protect it to ensure that you can get that effect off. Now, it's a really cool card in general because, like I said, it embodies a bunch of different cards that are currently banned all in one, and you get to pick. So if you want to draw 2, you can draw 2. If you want to get something out of your opponent's hand and gain the knowledge of what else is in their hand, you can do that. You know, there's a lot of different diversity within this card, and that's what I really like about it. Now, my one gripe with this card is, what is with the pussy shit effects that they picked for ban cards to be in this? Like, if I have to use a monster that requires 3 tributes, or I have to do some cockamamie way to get it in my graveyard, then special summon it back in face down defense position to flip it back up on my next turn, I want the effects to be f***ing busted. I want, like, Painful Choice, Change of Heart, Imperial Order, and f***ing Fiber Jar. Like, I want my opponent to fear that I have Pot of Taboos face down on my field, because that is a card worth running. If my opponent knows that they could potentially get Fiber Jarred on their next turn, they're going to want to kill that thing as quickly as they can. Let me know down in the comments what you guys all think about Pot of Taboos. I think overall it's a really interesting card. The effects are pretty good, but it depends on a competitive level how much those effects are going to be warranted, depending on if we can get this card out consistently enough to make it worth running. I already said that SHADDOLL combo, but outside of that, is there really a lot of easy ways that's worth getting this card out? I'm not sure, but I'm sure some people are going to want to experiment to try to break this card as much as they can. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. We'll see you next time.